See what that comes out to be. All right. So you guys are going to help me out, hopefully. Anything about... I didn't ask you this. Actually, let's do this. I don't want to get past this. This is something I don't need a videotape, but too bad. I want to do this real quick. I can't believe this. Today is taking me so damn long. Since I got so many of you guys, I got to do this. Take out a sheet of paper, and my birthday is September 21st. Anybody else? This intercession, somebody else had my birthday. I was like real excited. So I'm going to put a big ass 2-1 down like that. See? Right? You do the same thing. Don't put 21. If you were born April 15th, we celebrate it by paying taxes. You would put a 1-5 down. You with me? If you were born December 11th, put 11. Everybody do it. Or you fail. No. Help me out. You don't have a piece of paper. What the hell? Right? Okay. What do you think are the odds that somebody else in this classroom has this? Two people in this classroom have the same birthday. Do you think it's likely or not likely?
Likely.
Some of you guys know this. Actually, with this many people, I would put money on it, and considering I'm a teacher, that says a lot. Once you get like over 30-something people, it's over half chance, over 50% chance. I think it's actually in the 20s where it's over 50% chance. So when I call out the month, I want you to hold up your number, right? So where are my January babies? January 18, okay, 18 for, what's it say? 22?
Yeah.
Okay, oh, it's coming up. It's happy belated, happy early. January 22nd, what is today? Oh. Wow. I'm not good with numbers. February, you guys just accepted that, thanks. He's not good with numbers, sorry. February 11th? 11th, 26th, okay. March. 12th, 6th, 23rd, April. 4th, 11th, 28th, 23rd, 25th. Man, you're all dancing around each other. April, May. Oh, shit. What's it say? 19? 10. Oh. Wait, what? 10. Birthday twins. 17, 26. What was that, May? June. So I got one pair already. June? Any June babies? No, screw June. July. What do we got? 5th, 20th, 21st. Whoa. 17th, okay. August. 4th, 18th, 7th, 13th, 28th, 12th. All right. Of course, 9 months before August is kind of cool. September. Oh, I can put mine up. What's your say? 23rd? 20th? 29th, 10th, 15th. Damn. And then 21st. October. 12th, 1st, 27th, right? There's twins. Look at 6th, 5th, 23rd, 8th, 23rd. Look at that. There's 3 twins now, right? And 22nd. Did I say 22nd? No. 27th was. So I got 3 pairs so far. What was that?
October.
November. Where are my November babies? 22nd, 28th, 12th. Where am I at? December? December 5th, 14th, 20th. Okay, so we got 3 freaking pairs of people. That's awesome. And the reason that it seems like it should be less likely is we cannot fathom how many pairs of people are in here. There's not like a ton of people. There's a decent amount of people, right? But do you understand how many pairs of people there are? You and you, 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 you and I haven't even gotten over there yet, right? Do you guys understand? There's an insane amount of pairs in here. So what's the probability that any pair will have the same birthday is higher than you think because the number of pairs is higher than you think. Not, pairs. All right. Okay. So I'm glad I got that out of the way. First day is a good day to do that when I have a lot of people, and then I slowly lose people. But, oh well. So, real quick, we're going to do as much as we can. Terminology, that's what chapter 1's all about. So, I'm going to set this up. I'm going to do a little less interaction, sorry. Let's say that we wanted to know the average amount of time it takes a Grossmont student to get to college from their house, right? Average travel time for all Grossmont students. You guys with me? Let's say I want to know that. Anybody have any idea how many Grossmont students there are? A lot is can you be less specific? Can you be more specific? Anybody? Yeah, oh, that's a good guess. Roughly 18,000, right? And that's actually low. We're at a good time, we're at 20,000. So, do we want to talk to 18,000 students? Do you want to do that? So what do we do in statistics? What would be the population we're interested in? Be more specific. And what do I mean by that? If I said next door are circus clowns, right? Can you see that in your head? Now, if I said next door there are all of the circus clowns, is that a different image? Yes. So when I say population, you have to be more specific. When you say Grossmont students, I'll say which, and then you lose points. So all Grossmont students. That's the population. So the population is the entire collection of things we want to talk about. And from that population, of course, we normally take a what? What do we take from the population to work with? Sample. So all items or people we wish to describe, that's the population. So in this case, it would be all Grossmont students. And then the sample, get in here, is a subset of the population. Is that okay if I use the word subset? You guys are cool with that? Subset, subgroup of the population, right? You guys with me? And you all, these are words you know coming in. So in this case, one example could be, why would you guys be a bad sample? I'm not saying you're bad people. I don't know.
Because we're too small.
Say again?
There's too little of us?
No, that's actually not true. This is a decent sized sample. In fact, there's a website called Gallup. Anybody ever heard of Gallup? They do a lot of polls, and they talk about percentage of people that approve of the president and so well and so shit. They represent all Americans. How many Americans are there?
300 million?
Yeah, we passed that like in October of 08, but it's like 360 million now. We just keep all making words. And they use about 1,200 people as a standard number they use to represent that. And people that don't understand statistics say, well, I can't trust what you find. And that's bullshit. 1,200 is way big enough. So for a population of 18,000, about 50 is definitely a decent sample size. But what's wrong with this being a good sample? This is not a good sample. It's not the size. What's bad?
It's not random.
Good. And what's random mean?
We're all in the same class.
Good.
We're convenient.
Good. Anybody else? What's wrong with choosing this? What do I want the sample to do?
Be broad.
True, but what does that mean? I want it to represent the whole population, right? Why are you guys not representative of the population? Because you're in this class, for example. Does everybody have to take statistics? Right? Does everybody have to take stats? No. Right? For a minute in my head, I was like, am I in stats right now? Right? So is everybody able to take a class on Tuesday, Thursday in the morning? No. So not everybody had a chance to get into this sample, right? That is one of the most fundamental ideas of random, is everything in the population needs to have a chance to get into the sample. So we'll say that again later, but I want to say it right now. That is what random means in statistics. You watch some YouTube videos, people don't understand what random means. What's so random, Chuck? All right. Maybe. So an example here would be maybe like 80 randomly selected. Maybe we put everybody's name in the hat. Grossmont students. Oh man, I'm like writing really bad just to set the bar low. I'm going to set the bar really low the first day. So maybe it could be, for example, 80 selected gross month students. All right. What is it that I want to describe again about everybody in this specific example? Travel time. So I want to figure out, in fact, I want to figure out the average travel time. So that is something called the parameter. Parameter numerically describes a population. Now watch this. You're going to love this shit. So if I said the average travel time for all gross month students is 22 minutes, that's a parameter because it describes a population. Parameter population. That kicks ass. And now watch this. A statistic numerically describes a sample. That's, oh, holy shit. Right? You gotta love that. Statistic numerically describes a sample. Let me make sure you guys, right? Numerically describes a sample. So if I said the average gross travel time for the 80 selected gross month students was 19 minutes, that's a statistic. Why? It describes a sample. Isn't that insane? Isn't that beautiful? Maybe. I know you've all heard the word statistic, and you might have heard the word parameter used in different situations. This is what it specifically means in statistics. Okay, I like it. Last two things, I think, and then we're probably going to be, right? It goes till, can I trust you guys? No, it goes till, oh, we got plenty of time, don't we?
Yeah.
Holy shit. All right, sorry. I love you guys. I love the honesty. You could have right then said, oh yeah, we're almost done, Jeff. All right, I'll slow down.
Yeah, you can write so bad.
I know. You guys with me? Yes.
I can't.
Let me write it all again.
We need.
All right. This is why you got to listen to me. The day that I can't read what I wrote is the day I'll retire. I had a teacher like that. That you say, what did you write over there? And he said, somebody remember what I wrote over there? All right. Is everybody with me so far? So I have a group of people I would like to say something about. We normally cannot talk or look at everybody or everything in that group. So we all know coming into this class that we work with samples. That's the actual group that we work with. And the better selected they are, the more random of a selection I've taken, the more I can trust that it represents the whole population. That's why, where do you guys get your news from?
NPR.
I love it. Kick ass. Anybody else get news anywhere? Or do you just sort of like as you run into it?
CBS.
CBS, I like it. Twitter, true. Anybody get it from Facebook? Or is that like, I'm not old enough to be on Facebook, John. All right. Is that only old people on there nowadays? What about on the Instagrams? Do they have,
Yeah.
they got some news on the Instagrams? All right. What else is out there? I don't know. I don't think they put news on TikTok or something stupid. There's also newspapers. You guys know those still exist? On papyrus. Okay. Anytime you see, anywhere you see it, some statistical analysis, some like 50% of people do this, or only 11% of people wash their hands, or whatever. You with me? Don't freak out over the headline. Do they tell you how many people they surveyed? Do they tell you how they chose who they talked to? Right? If they don't tell you any of that, you cannot accept anything they say. You cannot let it influence you at all. And we all know all too well that there's a lot of people out there that want to influence us, our thoughts, and a lot of them know that most people don't understand statistics. So they're like, oh, sweet, I can influence them even better now. Right? So one thing I definitely want you guys coming out of this class with is an understanding of what you should look for before you trust some analysis somebody did. The other thing will be, can you understand the analysis itself? But the most fundamental thing is, do you even trust what they're saying? If they don't tell you how they found out what they're saying, screw them. Too bad. Can't trust what you're saying. Maybe. Okay. Has anybody paying attention to politics at the moment? Like with, the election is coming up, right? You guys all know this? Anybody about to vote for the first time? Anybody? All right, I'm sorry. It is the way it is right now. This is a really bad time to come into that space. Huh?
And then like the war stuff.
War stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole World War III possibility that maybe it's kind of calmed down now. Yes, so on behalf of the generation in charge, I'm sorry. But you young guys come in, maybe you can change some shit, right? I'm not as good anymore at keeping my own politics unknowable, but I am not here to influence anybody. I just want you to be aware, right? And you have to temper your awareness with knowing how to know what they're saying is true or trustable, right? So if you're paying any attention at all to politics, have you guys seen any polls that say, well, right now, 28% want to vote for Bernie, 24 want to vote for Biden, so many want to vote for Buttigieg. Is that how you say his name?
Buttigieg.
Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Buttigieg. Okay, I'm sorry. I could work on the news. But what do you see? Anybody ever seen that? Anybody? And at the very bottom, you normally see something that says plus or minus 4% or something, right? You with me? There's a beautiful example. I want to say something about this, but all I have is this. I want to be able to say this, but all I could calculate was this. So they took a sample and they saw 28% of their sample want to vote for Bernie. And then they say, well, I think it's the whole population, 28% of the whole population wants to vote for Bernie, give or take 4%. You with me? Where's that 4 come from? Did they just make it up? How sure are we about this shit? I don't know, about 4%. We're actually, later this semester, we're going to figure out the equation that will get us that 4%. We're going to see what goes into it. And maybe not surprisingly, it's directly influenced by how large the sample is taken. So N represents how big a sample is, and we're going to see that show up in the equation for the plus or minus 4%. So maybe if you take a larger sample, it goes down to 3%. Because the bigger the sample I take, the more certain I should be about what I see. You guys with me? Yes. So like our sample size is pretty small, we might end up with an error of plus or minus 11%, which in the end of the day might not be worth much, right? So then you just take a bigger sample. Okay, maybe. So that's really why all this stuff exists. A group I want to say something about, and this is what I want to say about them. Here's a group I actually work with, so here's what I can actually say. This is descriptive, and the minute I try to use it to describe these people, that's inferential. What's it mean to make an inference? If you infer something, what are you doing? Anybody know?
Assume.
Sort of assume, but not as, assuming based on good evidence, right? So if you infer something about somebody, like it's week 8 and somebody comes in late every day, you can infer that something's going on, they can't get up on time or something, but there's something keeping them from being here. So based on evidence, you can infer something about their general behavior. So based on evidence that I gather from a sample, I can say something about the whole population. Yes. So that plus or minus 4 is kind of an indication of how good was the evidence I got. If it's plus or minus 20%, I'm not going to put that shit in an article. That's shit. Give or take 20%. Get out of here with that. Right? It's like saying at least 0% of the people. Get out of here. It's no good. All right. So statistic numerically describes a sample. I like it. Oh, I know what that's right. Okay. I like it. Okay. Yes, okay. Everybody got this here?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't erase very well. Go away. All right. once you get a sample, so remember what I wanted to figure out, the average commute time, right? The average travel time for a course of students. So once I've gotten my sample of 80 students, what's the very next thing you do with them? Let's say you're my 80 students, let's pretend.
Combine the times.
I've got you in my,
Combine the times.
I can't do that yet. What have I not done yet?
You have to ask them.
Yes, you have to ask each person, you know, give them a piece of paper or go around and ask each one of them, how long does it take you, right? So that is what's called the variable. That's a very familiar word. The variable is related to the question I ask. Why does that make complete sense? What is a variable in algebra?
Something that's not set. Something that's not set.
Not set. So meaning what? It's a variable is a letter that could take on many values, right? So you're right, not set. So what's a question? It's a thing that could have many answers, kick ass. So the variable is related to the question I ask. You know, become a word. So for example here, what question would I ask each student in my sample? How long does it take you to travel to Christmas? So length of travel time for a student. Become a thing. There you go, buddy. How we all doing? Aw, I lost somebody. Okay, I like it. So the variable is related to the question I ask. So the next thing is, what do I call all the answers I get? And this is one of the key words everybody knows about statistics. What do I analyze? I analyze the data. Data. I like it. Data is going to be all the answers to the question. So give me examples of what the data could be here.
15 minutes.
Say again?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. 50 minutes. 0 minutes because I live in the trailer over there. Nobody's found me yet. I had a friend of mine in grad school. We didn't get paid much, and we weren't really allowed to have jobs. What a great combination. So he actually lived in his office and took showers in the quantum physics emergency shower. He would take a shower in there. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. Anyway, sorry. Let's just pretend like nobody has that happening. An hour, whatever, right? You with me? So data has to be examples of answers. If you say the data is the length of travel time, that's the variable. Cool? So everybody see how this kind of works all together? A lot of these words you've heard before, and they go right with what you would do. I want to say something about these people. It's too many of them. Let's just talk to a group of them. Let's ask them a question. Let's get all the answers. Then I can calculate. Once I get all the answers from my group, what could I calculate? The average for the group, which would be the what? The statistic, because that would describe the sample. Kick ass. You guys see how this all flows? Maybe. All right, so you have to know what these words mean. I never ask you a direct definition question. I don't say define statistic. I do say, is this a statistic? And then I give you a situation. Or I say, tell me what kind of thing this is, and you have to tell me. You guys with me? So you have to be able to use them correctly, identify them correctly. All right. So, oh shit. I need to get a cameraman, I think. Or a woman. Or anybody. Okay. So let's do this. Well, let's do 2 more things. And then I actually have a little something I want you to do. Let's kind of break down these guys a little bit. Types of data. You could have, well, types of variable. You could have something called quantitative data, or you can have qualitative data. What's the root word of quantitative?
Quantity.
Quantity. So what kind of thing is quantitative data?
Numbers.
Truly numerical. Very often they are some kind of measurement, possibly, right? They don't have to be. What does it mean to be truly numerical? What the hell does that mean? Well, for example, would a social security number go there?
No.
No, because what's a social security number do? It's just another example of how I can identify you. It's a name for you, right? If you ever read 1984, right? You're like, 1984? Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay. Some of you guys were probably had to, right? But there was a big thing about social security numbers becoming our name, and that would be how it hasn't come out to be, right? Which is fun, which is fantastic. So quantitative are truly numerical, meaning they represent measurements, amounts. They represent something I can subtract and do the normal numerical stuff with. So zip codes, again, I can subtract 2 zip codes, can I not?
Yeah.
Will the answer actually mean something? No, so they're not numerical. They are names of areas, right? So qualitative is just categorical name data. Okay, maybe. I like it. So where would somebody's jersey number go? Qualitative, right? It was really funny. One semester I had 3 women from the women's basketball team. Anybody play sport here? Anybody? What do you guys play? Tennis? Soccer? Basketball. All right. I like it. Tennis and basketball. I love those. I might as well tell you this. All right. Just in case. So this eye, I can see like through a fog. It's fantastic. And I only tell you this because I've gotten a lot better at depth perception. So I lost it last January. That was awesome. Driving back home from Temecula, all of a sudden, that's not scary. So you can sneak up on me coming this way. So if you come up to me this way and I don't say anything to you, kind of try not to scare the shit out of me, right? And when I first had it, I couldn't quite find papers. That was awesome. Somebody would come in and give me something. I'm like, oh, thank you. But I've gotten a lot better. This eye has kind of taken over. So I used to play. I haven't tried in a while. I tried to play basketball probably too soon after, and it depressed the hell out of me. Tennis, I'm really scared to try to play again, but I got to try it. So that's awesome. So you guys are playing for the Grossmont teams? No, you just play soccer out in the wild. Okay.
I
You who?
I teach.
You teach. You teach tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Kick ass. And you
I
play for Grossmont. Kick ass. Okay. That took me so long. I forgot. Oh yeah. So one semester I had 3 people from the women's basketball team, and one of them was number 16. One of them was number 2. And I said, if you do 16 minus 2, you don't really get it. And they said, oh, you get Michelle. She's number 14. I was like, oh shit. So I'll never forget that. That was awesome. But still, they're just names. They're another way to identify the person. Are you guys with me? Okay. So let's do this. I want to give you something I forgot to give you earlier. This, I'm just going to give you this just because. One side has got kind of an outline of everything we're going to do this semester. So, it might be daunting. The other side is something I've decided last semester to start giving out is the Greek alphabet. Right? So like I said, we're going to use a lot of Greek letters in here. You might as well see what some of these bad boys look like so that when I write them up here, they don't freak you out. Okay. Or not too much. I'm going to grab you a chair here in a bit. Or try to. Sure. I know what it is. So I have a class in here right before you guys. So that's why I felt like it was later than it really was. That's going to take some getting used to. Okay, so this, you can use this, you cannot use this, I have no idea if this will be helpful to you at all. I just thought it would be cool if I was in this class. I would kind of like to get this. Okay. And then the next thing is, so this is pretty much as far as I made it with my Monday, Wednesday class. So I have a Monday, Wednesday class, and then there's you guys. Kind of unfortunately for you, but it still might work out, is my Monday, Wednesday class will always be ahead of us. You with me? So I try to keep both on the same track. If you know ahead of time you're going to miss like on a Thursday, you know you got to leave early for the weekend or something, you can come to my Wednesday class. It's going to be the same stuff. You guys understand? Just let me know. There are understandably a lot less people in that class because it is a Monday, Wednesday, 7 a.m. class, right? So some of you guys are like, thanks for the invite, Jeff, but I won't be attending that part. I understand, but it's still there. Just let me know, just so I know there's not suddenly 20 of you guys wanting to be there. There's not enough room. You guys with me? Okay. So that's why I try, sometimes we might end early, and that's why I was trying to rush a little bit when I thought it was later. And anyway, I meant to do this earlier, but we might as well do it now. And this is great because you got to be tired of me talking. It's okay, you can be honest. This, you're going to love this. This is like a little, what I call a warm-up sheet. It has some problems from algebra and from statistics. I know you're in statistics, but I just want to see what you know. Do what you can by yourself. No calculators. No phones. You with me? This is not going to count for a grade. I'm going to let you work by yourself for a little while, and then I'm going to ask you to group up and work together. Is everybody with me so far? Yes, okay. One side is the individual group work side. Totally work only on this side by yourself and with other people. And then the other side is for when I actually start going over it with you. Then you can keep notes here. You with me? You will be turning this into me at the end. Okay, so let me do this. So start off by yourself, do as much as you can, and then I'll let you know when I want us to group up with other people. I guess I don't need to record this. What an exciting